What is going on, G.I. Joes and Barbies? For this episode, I'm coming at you with a discussion. And before I go into that, I want to say that the gameplay that you're looking at here is level 27 from Slaughtermax. And the map is titled Back and Forth. It's designed by B-Dubs. So if you would like to check out a full playthrough of that map, I'll give you a link to that in the description below. Yeah, just to give you a word of caution that if you are, some of the things that I say in this commentary, if you are offended by what I say, the only advice I have for you at this point is click away from the video. Alright, so if you can't handle it, I'm not going to accommodate you for it. I'm just going to say just click away if you can't handle it, alright? Because some of the things, you're going to find controversial. At least some of you. Okay. So there's an article that I came across on the internet. I first saw it in a Facebook news feed. And the article is titled Delta Airlines apologizes for quote-unquote creepy Diet Coke napkins, is removing them from flights. So what I did was when I first saw that article, I Google searched it, and there's a number of articles talking about that. So what I did was I chose a one as like the USA Today as the source for where the information's coming from. So that way, if you guys want to read more about this incident, you can just click on the link below, and it'll take you to that article. I'll give you a link to that. So, I mean, this, as far as this article is concerned, this is, let me tell you something, okay? I despise, making videos about SJWs, okay? But at the same time, though, it's like, I feel like I need to discuss the SJWs because it shows how corrupt humanity is, okay? And this article is a perfect example, okay? This story is a perfect example of why people these days are corrupt, okay? So, what happened here specifically when it comes to this story? Okay, the airlines said that they're already in the process of getting rid of the Diet Coke napkins before the social media outbursts. Okay, the Delta Airlines, what they do is that they regularly rotate products as part of their brand partnership. Okay, and they do that because they want to spice things up, which this time when they did it, it didn't go well for them. Okay, there were unintended consequences for them. Okay, and I don't think they're deserved, in my opinion, but I'll go into that later on in this topic. So they apologized and they began removing the napkins. And here's what Delta Airlines had to say about this situation. This is coming from the article, okay? We sincerely apologize to anyone we may have offended. We worked with our partners at Delta to begin removing the napkins last month and replace them with other designs. And if you don't know what the napkins said, basically, there's like a backside where it had a place where you put your name and phone number on there. And then the overly offended person tweeted, "These napkins are creepy as," and then the F word. Pretty sure no one appreciated unsolicited phone numbers in the quote-unquote good old days. And they may sure as heck don't want the number of someone who has been gawking at them in a plane for hours today. Not a good look. Now, let's talk about this relationship between Delta Airlines and that customer, okay? First, the Delta Airlines, when they apologized, Delta, there is no reason for you to apologize, okay? That was a lousy move you made there. Instead of apologizing, why won't you teach customers common sense, okay? This is like when Review Tech USA talked about where Microsoft had to go on Twitter and apologize for, saying something that's interpreted as racist, okay? Back when Microsoft sent a Dead Rising 4 email pertaining to sound like a zombie, and a customer accused Microsoft of using the N-word, okay? Just because the subject line had some of the same letters as that word had in it. The customer's like, oh my god, let me be offended by something ridiculous. Let me tell you something, okay? Instead of, Delta, here's my advice to you, okay? Instead of apologizing, why not teach people common sense, okay? Why won't you, instead of saying that you apologize for what you've done, why won't you say like, if you don't want to give out your phone number and your name, you don't have to. We're not forcing you to do it. Okay, why won't you do it like that instead of the apology, okay? And if you do it like that, then the customers won't be as offended, okay? Or at least less people will be offended, okay? And to the person who made that tweet, and to people who like making tweets like this, I got special advice for you. Instead of complaining on social media about the airlines sending out quote-unquote creepy napkins, why won't you just throw the napkins away or find somewhere else to be if you can't handle it, okay? And I've talked about this on my channel before, and I take back nothing what I say. If you're out anywhere in the public, and if you're that easily offended, why won't you find somewhere else to be where you won't be offended, okay? And as long as you do that, then you're not going to be offended. That's my advice to you, because you know what? As much as I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I think this is the truth, is SJWs to me are just as bad as the terrorists, okay? I know some of you are going to be angry at me for saying this, but you know what? This is how I feel about the situation. The social justice warriors are just as bad as the terrorists. Now, why am I making that comparison? Well, do you want to know why they're just as bad as the terrorists? Well, let's compare and contrast both groups of people, okay? What the terrorists do is they blow buildings up with explosive devices, resulting in countless lives being taken, okay? And you want to know what the SJWs do. I mean, obviously they don't do any of that, but you want to know what they destroy. They destroy fun, okay? They like to try and police other people into oblivion. Basically try to form censorship, okay? It's like, no one can have fun anymore. It's like you can joke around, and, just because you do joke around, it's like you get accused of some kind of a misconduct. And you want to know what's even worse nowadays is that if you're at work and you did something like, if you even joked around about, which, now obviously there are limits, but if you're joking about, like, over something that's like frivolous, okay, something that's just trivial, okay, not something serious or anything like that. It's like nowadays you could get yourself reported for anything, okay? You could be accused of anything as long as you have an accusation. It's like you face consequences. My question is, okay, then why does it have to be this way, okay? Well, why does it have to be where it's like, just because, like, for example, okay, like, when I talked about, like, compare the story with Microsoft being accused of using the N-word, okay, why is it that, like, just because some of the letters in the word is matched up with, like, what a racial slur has in it, why is it that you accuse a person of being racist for saying it, okay? Like, what's the big deal here? The person's not causing any harm. Like, Microsoft didn't call a customer the N-word, okay? That didn't happen. I mean, yeah, the subject line had some of the same letters as a racial slur has in it, but Microsoft did not use the N-word, okay? They didn't call the person the racial slur. If Microsoft actually did use the racial slur, then yeah, there should be consequences, but you know, pretend to sound like a zombie is not racist, okay? Microsoft did not use the N-word, okay? They didn't say it. Okay, so if you're a person who couldn't handle the Dead Rising 4 email, and like what Review Tech USA said, if you can't handle the internet, please step off of it before you ruin it for other people. Okay? How I feel about that is, well, I mean, it's not just that, but if you're out in the public and you can't handle it, why won't you go someplace else where you're not going to be offended? And as long as you follow that advice specifically, you'll never be offended ever again. Okay? And now, why do I reference SJWs with terrorists? Well, you want to know what they both have in common? Well, obviously they destroy things. I mean, the SJWs destroy fun, but you want to know what they both destroy in common, aside from fun? They destroy people's lives, okay? Now, the terrorists, I mean, they destroy people's lives physically with explosive devices and things like that. The SJWs, they don't do that. They destroy people's lives by ruining their reputation, okay? By basically making false accusations towards people and trying to make them look bad that could possibly ruin the rest of their lives, okay? Like if it were to happen at work, for example, you could get somebody fired over doing things like that. And because I know employers, I mean, let me tell you, they love to be sensitive about everything, okay? Like you could be on social media talking about expressing your political opinions, and just because they disagree with your opinions, they can fire you. Just because the customers disagree with what you said, they can file you for like harassment and things like that, or other forms of misconduct. Let me tell you something, okay? People need to learn common sense, okay? Just because you disagree with someone's opinion, that doesn't mean you should attack them, okay? Why won't you just say, hey, look, I disagree with your opinion, and then state your reasons as to why you disagree, okay? Why won't you do that instead? And if you do that, then that'll help you maintain a healthy relationship, okay? Because from the direction that it's going right now between the airlines and the customers, things are not looking too pretty, okay? The customers, what they need to do to keep themselves happy is they need to like throw away the napkins or find somewhere else to be, okay? Leave the airport or something like that. Just find somewhere else to be where you're not going to be offended, okay? That's my advice to you. And as for the Delta Airlines, my advice for them is, instead of apologizing, teach them common sense, okay? Just tell the customers, hey, look, you don't have to give us your name and phone number, okay? You don't have to do that. We're not forcing you to do it. If you don't want to do it, that's your choice, okay? So, there are two things that people are missing that I think are critical for success is rational thought and common sense, okay? And nowadays it's like a rarity. So anyways, if you guys want to read, and girls too, if you're watching this video, it's not just guys, but if you people want to read more about this article, I mean, I'll give you a link to that in the description. But it pretty much states everything I just said. So, well, I mean, this information that I just talked about, it's coming from the article. So, they wrote the article and I talk about it, which obviously I'm not getting sponsored in doing it, but You know, I'm just talking about it because I think it's something that needs to be discussed. So, anyways, to summon things, and I'm going to keep it short with you if you're watching this video. I mean, if you're on my subscribers list, I'm not concerned about you. You people are great people. What I'm concerned about is the customers, and it's just humanity in general, okay? It's humanity that I fear of when it comes to the future, because nowadays it's like, you know, more freedoms are being taken away. So it's like it's slowly turning into a boot camp, okay? Where we're being patrolled by Nazis and other pieces of garbage out there. I just feel that we're being patrolled, and it's not looking too good, okay? I know this is a pretty long discussion video, but like I've mentioned before, I think it needs to be talked about. So, if you have any thoughts about this, leave them in the comments section below. If you like what you've heard, make sure you hit the like button, as that helps support my channel. If you like to see more of my activities and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. This is Martian Doomer 11339 signing out. I hope that all of you have a good one. And yes, please do learn some common sense before any kind of repercussions take place. Have a good one.